Hello and welcome back to the channel. I hope you've been enjoying the last couple of videos with some more of the Berlin content. Today we are visiting probably one of the nicest areas of Berlin. Definitely quite an expensive area. So I'm going to Wannsee, well, I'm going to go visit Wannsee House, which is on the like 10-15 meters away from the Wannsee River, or the Wannsee Lake. I think it's the Wannsee Lake, which is so the house has got a bit of a horrible history, which I think is now probably safe to say for demonetisation purposes. Is where in 1942 a lot of the top ranking officials of the government at the time came together to decide what they were going to do with the Jews at the time. So that's where a lot of the concentration camps had discovered and found a way to solve the Nazis' problems. This is where they came up with the term "the final solution." It's where they concreted in the fact that they wanted to kill the Jews, and they were trying to discover the best ways of, well, that according to them, the easiest way to get rid of the Jews. If you haven't seen the film, I'll remember it by the time I come to the next video. Because from 2001, had a lot of high actors in it who were it was a reenactment of how they came up with the final solution. And in the film they just skirt around the word and they never say anything about final solution. Barely any of it was recorded. They had a writer in the corner who was meant to be note taking. Barely anything was written down because they didn't want the judgment, I suppose. But it came back to bite them because the vast majority of the people who were at the meeting didn't actually end up living until the end of the war. They all died during in the last goes of the war. So I suppose they got their own back, really. But I'll cut to when I'm closer there and what the name of the film was, to go watch that as well. Okay, so I've made it to Wannsee Lake. I was looking at that 2001 film called Conspiracy. Had Kenneth Branagh, Stanley Tucci, so quite a famous lineup, really. Only 96 minutes long, but stuff was written based loosely off the only surviving minutes of the meeting, so should in theory be quite accurate. Quite good movie, film I should probably say as a Brit. Yeah, so quite good really in that regard. It's a very nice area. I don't know if what I've filmed so far has really caught it. I'll do a little bit of filming once I get to the more residential part, but it's a very nice area, all built up quite nice, especially very nice in the sun. I think a lot of people come here to go swimming because it's one of the big places to sort of relax and chill out. So I should catch up to you in the residential area, and then as I get to the house. Opposite me now, from where I'm sat, is the public like the Wannsee bathing house, which opened in I think it said just after the Second World War. It had a lot of clientele, obviously after the First World War, but as soon as anti-Semitism rose, apparently it started banning Jews and not letting them go. But then during the in the build-up to the 1936 Olympics, they had to tear down all the no Jew signs due to the fact that they can have the negative stereotypes that they were having anything bad going on in the country. So they had to technically let the Jews back in, but they weren't apparently making it very easy. And after that, they were allowed back. They weren't allowed back in. But apparently, also during the war, they managed to avoid all the bombings, so they managed to stay open during the entire war, and managed to actually have good business afterwards, which is quite surprising. So I thought I'd just finish the vlog off with a little bit of a closing statement about Wannsee House. I'm just sat by the river. Not sure if you can quite see the house behind me. It is a massive mansion, to be fair. If you do end up coming to Berlin, it's definitely a must-see on the bucket list if you're here for more than 4 or 5 days. It's a bit of an effort to get here, but learning the history of the house and what happened in it, and what because it also, if you can't be bothered or have never really been fascinated or interested enough to read the background of what happened during the Second World War with the Jews, I don't know if you're necessarily a museum person, but it gives you all the facts in quite like short, succinct paragraphs, and you learn a lot about what actually happened with it, and how each person had different roles. So the person who I think was chairing the meeting, he was the one who actually managed to save all the save the last remaining document for the all the meeting notes of how everyone came together to say and agree on what happened. And apparently by the time they all met up in January 1942, they'd already killed an estimated 900,000 Jews, which is quite a lot. But then when you consider then that within 3 years they managed to kill an extra 5 million, they really narrowed down their efforts. So thanks very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please do just like the video and comment if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't subscribed already, that would really be beneficial.